Good afternoon. I'm a little bit more dolled up today because we are going to a comedy show tonight, me and my husband. So, yeah, a little bit different. So, I want to kind of expound on the video that I uploaded, the last video I uploaded the other day, and my parents, my dad's anger, and my mom doing the same thing that my grandma basically did to my dad, not giving him a say in the stuff that is his, and her deciding for herself that she's going to do it what she wants with it. And in return, is not giving my dad respect. And I want to tell you, like, if you have grown up in a family that is like this, or maybe your family, your mom and dad split up and remained single, or got, stepdad, stepmom, uh, how do you learn how to have a healthy relationship? Right? How to get over that where you come from a divorced family, and so really that's what you know, and you maybe even see the bickering back and forth before the divorce, the fighting, the hostile environment and everything. And if you don't want to carry that over, you want to break it, right? You either that, or it's shaped your idea to where you don't even want to get married at all because you see that all this around you ends, and you kind of get this idea that people are almost disposable. And I just want to say that maybe some of the your parents that got divorced, that maybe they weren't the right fit, that maybe for whatever reason they decided to get married to a person that doesn't see them correctly, that doesn't understand who they are fully correctly, doesn't understand who they are, and maybe doesn't enjoy doing the same things that the other one does. And that will create this separation. And you have to have your own separate purpose in life. You have to have your own separate personal goal in life that makes you happy and content, that's not reliant on another person. You have to be content with yourself before you find someone else, because that will end whenever scars happen through things that they've said, fights, arguments, things that's done in the relationship. And if you're using them to rely on you and have your purpose in life, that's then you will have no purpose once the person you're with hurts you so much. So I feel like a lot of these choices, maybe from different trauma with how they grew up. Like my mother, she grew up, and it was not a good environment. I think my mom's mom, my grandmother, she was married probably like 7 or 8 times, and that she saw men come in and out of her life. And my mom, she had a younger brother, about 2 years younger, but she was home alone a lot. So she kind of got wild, and there was no parenting there. And with that, she didn't have a steady dad like in her life. I think her father was never even really in the household. And I think he and my grandmother maybe got divorced whenever my mom was 2 or 3 or something, so very, very young. And she only heard her side from her mom about, her dad. Anyways, and so that led my mom to date not so wisely. She dated, my mom was so beautiful. Oh my gosh. I wish I could show you a picture of her because she was gorgeous. And she still is, but man, um, whenever she was dating in high school, and she was dating this guy that she tells me that was very abusive, very, very abusive. I don't know if he hit her or what, but I know that it escalated to one point where she thought he was going to kill her. So, I mean, that lets you kind of know things escalated. And I know that she asked her uncle for some money, and he said, "Look, if you want to get away from this guy seriously, then I'm gonna give you this money, and you better not ever go back to him, or I'm not helping you again." Well, she left, vanished, left, never spoke to that guy again, and listened to her uncle, which is good. But she didn't have a good father figure in the house due to my grandmother and what she lacked growing up, obviously from dating 7 men, or marrying 7 men, sorry. And she lacked something because she didn't get a healthy like example of what her dad was. She never knew her dad. She never had someone to teach her this is how a man's supposed to be, the love of a father. And so when you have that, then all those insecurities come through and you date anyone who gives you attention. And since she was used to chaos, chaos felt like home to her when she dated this guy. And she got with my dad out of, I'm not sure if it's a healthy type deal, but out of the, my dad wasn't going to do that to her. My dad wasn't, I mean, my dad's still angry and says a lot of things that I don't, that would hurt me if my husband said that to me. I would not allow my husband to speak to me like that. Same thing, my husband would not allow me to speak to him like that. But she's come from that and she just kind of wants to keep peace. She's seen that her mother, actually her mother was abused by one of her stepdads. And my mom had to come home from school and help sober up her mother before the stepfather got home because then he would hit her if she was drunk. So it was all put on my mom growing up in order to help regulate an adult. But in turn, this is how she is now. So I have to learn from the baggage that she carried over, not meaning to, but not knowing any better because that was her environment. And it's like a lost puppy that's been abused. It's like you only expect that abuse. You only expect humans to be like this. And so you react in different ways because of what you've been through. But if you want to overcome those, if you want to start having a healthy relationship and seeing what's good and what's supposed to be and compatible with someone, you have to heal that. And you have to do that by being alone. Honestly, you have to be alone. You have to be by yourself and get comfortable with yourself and reliant on you being okay and content alone. Not needing anybody else as an emotional support, emotional crutch to help you walk and to help you be. And so with these people that get married and get divorced so quickly, what was it that led them to marriage? Was it that they genuinely like doing things together and they have the same interest, the same goal to achieve? Or, I mean, that's the healthy way. Or is it out of fear, out of not, they might not be compatible. They might not, enjoy all the red flags. What I'm saying, they might ignore a lot of red flags and things that they're not willing to put up with because they're afraid of being alone. Because they can't fathom being alone because they use that person. Because they're insecure. And then they can't see that the person that they married out of insecurity of being alone is not a good fit for them. And they don't realize that till years later when things happen that you might react one way, but the other person might react in a different way. And you're like, how could you do that? How could you react like that? Or this isn't the right answer. I don't agree with this. And so you're butting heads constantly. And you notice that you maybe made a mistake, that you have married someone that you absolutely resent because they're not who you thought they were, whatever. They were your crutch, basically. And you can't have happiness from that. You can't continue like that. And so you grow resentment and not even knowing that this whole time this person was not even meant for you. This person didn't you didn't grow in this relationship to see that this is the things that you like to do with this person or not. Like my mom and dad, right? My dad likes to be inside just watching TV. He watches shows, he watches the news a lot, and he wants to be a mountain man, but from his bed, right? He loves the mountains, but he is definitely not fit to be in the mountains. But my mom, she grew up, she likes the creeks. She likes being outside. So she would prefer being outside all day. And then whenever she comes in for bed, that's the only time she's really inside. And that's what she likes to do. But they're totally opposite. My dad likes to be inside, and my mom wants to be outside. My dad likes to hoard everything, again, because he never knows when I think things are going to be taken away, and that's probably why. And my mom, she is not a hoarder. She collects things, but she is clean with them. She's organized with them, right? And so they have even separate bedrooms. And when growing up, I never saw them really getting along that well. I remember actually, there was one time, hang on. Okay, sorry. There was one time that I have one memory of when my dad was tickling my mom. And that's about it. All the other times, even my dad used to work third shift late at night, and he would get up and snap at my mom over. It's not even her. I don't know why. He's just such an angry man constantly. Um, and I remember watching him leave, and I would be hiding in the hallway that my mom couldn't see because I was waiting for my dad to leave. I didn't want to be in that confrontation because I didn't like to be around him that a lot when I was younger. Luckily, I had my godfather. He was like a good family friend. He would come over a lot and do things at our house, work at our house and stuff. And I got really close with him, and he actually taught me how to, build things like woodworking and all that. So, anyways, and so I'd wait for him to leave, and then I would see my mom after she shut the door. She just looked so sad, like so defeated, like she could never do anything right. Like she would pack his lunch, get him off, and then it's like he was always late because he'd wait to the last minute and then be pissed off at everyone because of his own doing. Mad at the world. And I never wanted, when I was a kid, I never wanted to be married because I saw that. I just wanted me and my dog. That's it. I didn't want to play baby. I didn't want to play house as a child. I wasn't into that because I didn't see a good example of that. All I saw was like, man, everything is you get beat down basically with your words and I don't know. I didn't like the way that dynamic was. And luckily though, I had my aunt and uncle. I would go to their house a lot from probably about the age 10 on up. It's about 16, 17, something like that. And I would be at their house every single weekend. And my aunt and uncle, I know my aunt, she dated several guys when she was younger. Again, she had father issues. Well, so did my uncle, but he didn't fall into that. My uncle, he only liked my aunt. Apparently, they met each other when they were kids, but they lived in different areas. They only came down to the same area because of their dad or their grandpa or something. I don't know. And I know that whenever they got together, right, and they got married, I always saw my aunt every weekend when I would go over there, right? We would always be doing something when my uncle was off work. We'd be going to a racetrack. We'd be doing whatever hobby he was into at the time on his weekends. And my aunt would enjoy building, like, say he was racing like those, I don't know, they're cars. They're about this big. They're remote control car, but it's like the kind where they take nitrous or something. I think that's what it is. But and they would go like 70 miles an hour, like tiny. Anyways, going fast. He would build those. He got into that for a while, and my aunt would sit there and just be with him and talk with him and help him build it, or to help hand him a little tool or something while he built it. They would just be constantly around each other, and they enjoyed each other's company. And I saw if they did have an argument or a little tiff or whatever, I would see how they handled it, and it was peaceful. It wasn't a whole bunch of loud this and that. They would literally talk it out right in front of me, and they laughed at each other. They picked on each other. We even played hide and seek or Nerf gun whenever I was like 16, and they'd been married for like, I don't know, 15, 10 years. I don't know, a long time. And I remember thinking, this is exactly how I want my marriage to be. If I were to get married, this is how I want it to be. I don't want to resent my person after however many years. I don't want this constant butting heads and talking to each other the way they do. I want someone where you like to spend time with constantly. I want a best friend. I want a best friend that no matter what, have our off days where we get annoyed at each other, but it's like the way you handle it's different. The way you handle it's like straight up like, hey, I know I'm in a grumpy attitude today. Like, you recognize it too. I don't know what it is, okay? Just so straightforward. And that's what I want. That's what I want to be. And so when you come from a broken family and where they divorce, the divorce rate's high, everywhere, you need to understand that your parents might not have been the right people for each other. I mean, back in the old days, right, they had arranged marriages, and I know people think that it's kind of like a negative thing now. They do that still in some parts of the world. I mean, if arranged marriages, like if it was used the good way, your parents knew who you were, and they knew to seek out someone that they thought that you would fit well with. Because sometimes the things that we search for in people are not actually the things that we say that we want, and so the people that are around you know you better sometimes than you know yourself in that way. And so they would pick a good husband or good wife for you based off of knowing you, and better sometimes than knowing yourself. And sometimes we're clouded by, oh, that person looks good or they got this and that, and that makes you want to choose them more. But your parents are trying to choose off of, your well being. But again, that could be corrupted too by the parents. If you have bad parents that, are in it for their own selfish goals, like marrying into money, marrying different, and I get it, different wealth categories. They want to keep growing the wealth, so they want you to marry to grow into that. That's not the way that it's used correctly. But if it's used correctly, like where, exactly how I said a minute ago, where they know who you are and they know how to pick someone maybe better than you know for yourself, then it works. And then there was actually the highest, they arranged marriages, actually they were um a less divorce rate in arranged marriages when it works correctly. I get it that a lot of people divorce, whatever, like it's corrupted. But and if you have friends too, like say you want to date this person, marry this person, if your friends absolutely are like, no, we see this in this person, don't get offended by that. Don't try to push them to like the person. You should just listen to it. Just put it in the back of your head and listen to it and take notice and ask them why. Don't get offended. Don't get upset that they're saying this to you, because your judgment might be off. You might be blinded somehow in something that they see and you don't. Just take it into consideration. Ask them, okay, what do you see? What is it about this person? And you could take it or leave it. But if you have a really good friend that you care about their opinion and maybe they do make good, sound, wise decisions, maybe really take that into consideration, because they would want the best for you. So, anyway, well, I guess I'm done with that. I've said everything I wanted to say. Just, it's tough with everybody out there with, parents that have been split up, and then you're trying to figure it out on your own. And you don't know any better. You don't even know the questions to ask yourself, what to look for. You just see what you don't want, maybe. See what you don't want, but you don't really know how to get there to the things that, or you don't know what got them there to the things that they didn't want. So, I don't know. And that helps with getting to know yourself. Being alone and being okay with being by yourself. You'll find a lot. You'll find out a lot about yourself. Find out what you do tolerate and what you absolutely won't tolerate. And look for that. Anyways, y'all have a good night. It's almost night where we're at, and it's pretty close to the time I should be getting the rest of myself ready.